Something I've always noticed when I play CS is that a lot of skins in this game are an amazing way to gauge what kind of person is using them. Today, I'll be going over those skins. Short intro, let's get into it. The classic AK-47. The timeless design, the reliable wood grip, the subtlety of the scratched metal. This is a vanilla weapon that actually looks really nice. If you use this, you're either very new to the game, or you're perfectly content with the base model. There are two types of people who use the blue laminate. Either you're an OG player who couldn't afford the red line when it came out, or you're a Cato 2014 collector. Cheap Cato crafts on the blue laminate are super common, and you can get a good looking paper craft for like 20 bucks if you're lucky. It's actually worth looking into if you're a fan of Cato stickers. Definitely one of the nicer looking common craft skins out there. So you know how I was just talking about how people using the blue laminate are probably Cato 2014 traders? Well, if you see this thing out in the wild, there's approximately a 99% chance that it is a low-tier Cato craft. I mean, seriously, why would you ever use this skin otherwise? I guess if you're making an edgy joke, but those people are few and far between. The Predator, but better and cheaper. The person using this is rich as hell. Not because it's the most expensive AK out there, but because there is no reason to otherwise use this skin. There are so many better AKs you can buy for a tenth of the price, and the only reason someone is using this is because they have money to burn and decided to get every expensive operation skin in the game, regardless of how good or bad they look. They're usually pretty new and not too hard to deal with. Now, redline users are an interesting bunch. Since the skin is so popular and widespread, I've noticed three main stereotypes involving this skin. There's the trader, who has 50 pages of nothing but red lines and are only using one because they just traded away their main AK. There's the color-coded guy who just has to have everything in his inventory match perfectly. I've noticed that the most common color for themed loadouts like this is red, so it makes sense for this guy to use it. And finally, there's the pub god. This guy's been playing CS since the Source days and picked up a StatTrak redline when it came out simply because it was the cleanest looking AK at the time. He has hundreds of thousands of kills on it and will absolutely stomp your lobby into the ground. Oh boy, the Fire Serpent. Probably the most controversial skin in the game. Some people say it's the worst AK ever released. Some say it takes a sophisticated understanding of fine art to truly appreciate. And some just like it for the funny looking lizard. Whichever side you take, two things will always be true. If you see someone using this skin in game, they either have an expensive but not extravagant inventory, or they just sold everything they owned to buy a crappy looking battle scarred one just to say they own a Fire Serpent.
Hello everybody, I am Pablo Picasso and I love the video game Counter-Strike Global Offensive. I love it so much I made this really cool skin for my favorite weapon in the game, the AK-47. I hope you like it, and be sure to subscribe to Captain Pickle 4.
These people are so weird. Every Orbit Mark 1 user I've ever seen either swears it's the best AK skin in the game, or they got it when Operation Hydra came out and never bothered switching off of it. But the one unifying trend that unites all of these people together is that they are all weird. Weird profiles, weird dialect, weird inventories, everything. I don't understand it either, and I don't think I ever will. You are the basic bitch of the CSGO scene. You wear all white Air Force Ones or old school Vans, your favorite ice cream flavor is chocolate or vanilla, and you probably listen to a lot of Drake. And no, your Stockholm Holocraft does not make this skin any more unique. You either are free-to-play and got this as a drop, or you're free-to-play but finally scraped together enough cases and graffiti drops to sell them on the market and get yourself an AK skin. But to be totally honest, this skin looks kind of sick when you get a Minway or Fag new one. No, seriously. Now, this AK used to be the basic bitch AK, but ever since the Slate came out, this poor thing has been left in the dust. I hardly ever see it used anymore, and that honestly makes me kind of sad. It's still a really cool AK and deserved its widespread use. You have dyed hair and unironically wear fingerless gloves everywhere you go. You also probably have one of those trainer balisong knives and you think you look really cool while flipping it. You despise capitalism and the government, but can't come up with any reasonable alternatives or solutions, and you think lip piercings are the peak of fashion. You're also 13. You do not exist. You either have a full yellow loadout, complete with lore knife and omega gloves, or you have a sticker craft with splice hollows. Seriously, there are so many crafts of this skin with splice stickers, you could probably fill a pool with them. You are a new player who really wanted an AK skin but couldn't afford anything above $1 and refused to use the Safari mesh. Or you wanted a cheap stat track and didn't care how the skin looked. Yes, those are the only two types of people I have ever seen use the Uncharted. Unlike the X-Ray, this is a high-tier operation skin that actually looks good. The person using this is still rich as hell, but they have good taste in skins this time. They're probably rocking a ruby or sapphire knife, along with an Op Gungnir and M4 Howl.